Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Reese. I'm the founder of Yes Supply and founder of the Yes Supply Method Coaching Certification. And if you are not new here, welcome back. It's so great to see you again. So today I was thinking of doing a video on what to do if you are currently broke. Because, you know, I donate to charities, I give money to homeless people, and I'm always trying to help everyone. If I have I actually years ago in my business, I would actually kind of hire people to help them in a way. If I knew they had a skill but they were stuck with money, I would give them odd jobs, just my name, which isn't always the best thing to do, by the way, but just my nature is really of giving and wanting to help people. But I know that it's better to teach a man or teach a person how to fish rather than just giving them the fish. So what I was doing as I was walking to my office this morning, I was just thinking about how I wanted to talk about if I was broke again, what I would do to get started, because I know what it feels like to be broke. I know what it feels like to not have enough money to take a course or schooling that you need to, or feel like there's not enough money to get the resources that you need to start a business, like having a nice laptop or camera and all of those different things. But I want to tell you that when I started, I was broke. I had barely enough money to get started. I was afraid of spending $60 on a website domain because I didn't know for sure if I was ever going to be able to make the money back. And so I wanted to share with you what I would do if I'm in your situation, because I know it's hard when you feel like $800 is a ton of money or $100 is a ton of money, and it seems risky and all those different things. So I want to give you some ideas on what you could do if you're broke and you no longer want to be broke, on how to bring more money into your life. So in life, some people have a lot of money and some people have a lot of time, okay? Chances are, if you have more time in your life to be able to get to that next level that it is that you want to do by switching out different habits. So one of the things that I realized about myself when I first wanted to get started but I didn't have the money is that I actually did have the time, okay? It was just that not all the time I was spending my time on the right things. I was watching movies, I was going out on Friday or Saturday nights to go drinking with friends or go out with friends. When I used to work at a retail store, I would spend a lot of money on clothes. And what I realized was, I'm focusing all of my attention, all my energy on the wrong things. I'm spending money on clothes rather than saving it. And the time that I do have, I'm not using it to develop myself. I'm just using it to look at what everyone else is doing. I'm watching other people's videos. I'm, watching movies and TV and everything like that. And I'm spending my nights hanging out, doing things that I don't really want to be doing, like drinking and partying. I actually have always been a creative person. I've always wanted to create, but for a long time I wasn't giving myself permission to do that. So one of the things that I want you to realize is that if you want to be able to bring more money into your life, money is just an exchange. And if you're willing to find a way to add value into the world, that value can be exchanged for the energy that you want to receive in the form of money. So let's say you're at a job and you're not making as much money as you want to at that job. Even if you feel stuck in that job, I want you to know that you're actually not stuck. There are higher levels of that job that you can get to no matter what. Even if you're telling yourself every higher level of my job has a master's degree and I don't have a master's degree and I can't afford a master's degree, or every higher level of my job is like this and I'm like that. I want to tell you, this is how you get to the next higher level in your job. And I can tell you this because in multiple past jobs that I had, I was able to get to that level that I wanted to, making more money and being able to provide more service by doing this one thing, which is finding out the problem that the overall company has and then becoming the best person at solving it. So that means that you have to eliminate from your vocabulary the phrase, "that's not my job." As soon as you say things like, "that's not my job," "that's above my payroll," everything like that, you're essentially throwing away money. You're throwing away potential opportunities. Because if you want to have be able to earn more money and want to have more decision-making power and want to, be able to contribute to the company more so you can make more money, you have to make yourself more valuable. And how you can make yourself more valuable is by solving higher level problems. So when I used to work at a retail job, I knew that I didn't want to stay at that retail job for forever, right? When I looked at the people who are higher than me at the retail job, as much as I loved them and I thought that they were incredible people, I knew that I didn't want that job for myself, right? I knew that I wanted to work in a tech company at the time. I had no clue what that would even look like. I didn't even have a tech background. It just seemed like my heart was calling me there, and it just seemed like it would be fun. And so what I did when I was a sales associate and I wanted to become a manager because I wanted more managerial experience is I stopped coming into work acting like another sales associate, and I started to look at the problems that my managers were dealing with, and I started to get invested in helping to solve them. So when I would come in, instead of just looking at my own personal sales goals that I had for the day at that retail job, I also started to ask my manager, what's the overall sales goal for the overall store for the day and for the overall store for the week? And I contributed to the sales goals not just by hitting my own sales goals, but I would try to sell a little bit more to help the company create its goal for the day and create its goal for the week. And then I also contributed to other people, how I would notice if other people on the sales floor had a customer and maybe they didn't upsell or whatever it is, they missed an opportunity in the fitting room, I would actually help them. So not only was I contributing to my own personal goal, but I was actually contributing to other people's goals and to the whole store goal. Because the more you become a leader, the more you're not just thinking about your own goals, you're also thinking about the goals of the people around you. That's what leaders do, right? Singular people just think about me, how am I going to focus on my own stuff? But leaders actually think about the whole. And so what I did by doing that is I helped solve higher level problems than my pay grade, and that essentially moved me up to a higher pay grade and to a higher level of responsibility. Again, another opportunity where I didn't wait for someone to tell me what to do, but I looked at what are the overall problems and how can I solve it. Is at that particular business, there was a section that we had to be really good at in terms of operations. And even though I wasn't from the get-go trained in operations, what I did was I realized operations are really, really important. So I reached out to a leader in the company who was one of the heads of operations, and I asked her for feedback and I asked her for advice and I asked her, what do we need to do to succeed? So that's how you are able to create more money no matter where you are. It's by not operating at your current level, but thinking about how can I solve bigger problems, because when you solve the problems that are bigger than your pay grade, you're helping at a higher level. And what you do when you do that is you become so valuable to them, right? Because you're bringing in more money to the company, you're making things more efficient, whatever that is. You're adding so much value that you become valuable, and then they have no choice but to pay you more, because if they don't, they'll lose you, right? And at the time when it was my time to leave that company, when I was ready to quit, they really, really tried really hard to make me stay. We'll just say that much. And so that if you just are another cog in the wheel and you just read what's coming from the manual and you just do what someone tells you, you're going to stay at that same level that you came into the business. But when you look at that next level and you think of the bigger level problems and you work on solving them for the whole, that's how you actually will be able to rise up. Now, the exact same thing works for you if you want to start your own business as well. Okay, so right now I own a coaching certification business. We certify hundreds of people in neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, EFT, essentially all of the tools that help you work with your subconscious mind to achieve your goals, create more abundance, be happier, have better relationships, all the best things. Because literally everything in your life is going to come from your mind. But when I first started, I didn't know clearly what it was that I wanted to do, but I had an idea of the industry that I wanted to be in, and I had an idea of what I would need to do to succeed. So I knew as a successful coach, I would need to have a great product. I would need to work on building an audience. I would need to add value or inspiration or motivation and education, which is, all of the above. But at the beginning, I didn't have a lot of money, right? And so what I had to do was I had to think creatively. I had to think outside of the box, and I had to think of how can I not just solve my own problems, but how can I help other people by helping them solve their problems as well. And so what I did in my own life was every single step that I took as I learned something new about growing my business, I actually taught what worked for me. Right? I helped other people by sharing what worked for me. I was so excited about what I was doing. It didn't even feel like work. I would talk to someone at the coffee shop about what I was doing in my online business, or, on my live streams and Instagram stories and all that. I would just talk about what was working for me and helping people and adding value. And again, not just thinking about how can I solve my own problems, but also thinking about how can I help other people solve the problems that they're going through as well. And so for this, I knew that a lot of people actually had the same struggle as I did, getting your first blog post up, getting over stage fright of doing a video, all of those different things. And so what I did first was I worked on myself to help myself overcome the fear or the obstacle or making the first dollar or making the first $10,000, and working with different types of people, or also how to deal with friends or people who don't understand what you're doing. Every single new lesson I learned, I realized I'm not the only person who's struggling with this. Other people are struggling with this too. And when I actually shared my learnings with other people and I was helping other people solve their problems, again, that made me more valuable by adding more value. And then of course from there, that put me in a position where I could actually charge for my time. So how you get to a position where you can make more money is when you get so good at something that you can charge for your time. Now, one of the things that I also did when I was first starting Yes Supply was I was working on growing my own social following, right? Because I knew that building an audience, of course I wanted to help people, so I had to build an audience, right? I had to create a community of people who wanted my help, who were looking for someone like me with the story that I have and the lessons that I have to share and my unique perspective on things. So I built my own community. And from building my own community, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from my own trial and error, and I also learned a lot from taking courses, from watching YouTube videos, from reading books, all different types of things. And what I realized when I was first starting was I had a little bit more time than some of the other business owners who had started earlier than me. So what I was doing as I was actually starting off building Yes Supply, and I was, building my first digital product, which was my Good Morning Beautiful emails, and I was building my first membership site, and I was doing all of these things, is I was also acquiring skills in social media because I was building my own. And what I did was I actually put myself out there to help people, trading my time for money, but trading my time for money in a way that felt good to me. So while I was building Yes Supply, I actually had a few clients where I was helping them with their social media. I had a really cool jewelry designer who she but I took I didn't take it, but whatever. I was borrowing, I guess, all of her rings and necklaces and jewelry and all these different things, and I would take pictures of it because just from building my own social media, I got better at taking pictures and making things look pretty. So I would take pictures and then I would post the jewelry and I would create these great captions and I would get engagement, and I helped her build her social media. And then I actually also cold emailed a tech company, and I noticed that they had this great software, but they weren't actually showing up on social media in a good light. And so I actually cold emailed them and I said, hey, I love what you're doing. I love what you're building. And here's a few tips that I feel like will really help you with your social media. Ended up getting on a call with someone in marketing from the team. We jived, they liked me, and I started getting paid to help them with their social media. Because here's the thing, bigger companies, they often have a lot of resources in terms of money to pay people to do a whole bunch of cool jobs, but they don't always have the right people. Okay? And so if you feel like you're the right type of person, you're self-motivated, you take initiative, you want to solve their problems, you look at the people who you want to help, and you are invested in helping them solve their problems so that they don't feel alone anymore in solving that problem, that can be a great way for you to earn an income from helping them. And now what you also have to do, of course, is open yourself up to receiving. So what I want to share with you as well, if you do start working with different companies and trading your time to help them with whatever it is, one of the things that it's really important is to make sure that you get paid your worth. So don't just say like, oh, I only need $5 for 5 posts. Actually put an amount that's going to be good for you to pay your bills, to feed your family, to, treat yourself, whatever it is that you need to do. Because also one thing that's really important to know about work is that every single thing that you create, you put your energy in it. This is tested, that like someone could write a book and put really good energy into that book and then put that book down. And if somebody else like 10 hours later picks up that book, they'll actually sense that same positive energy. So whatever energy you put into something, the people who correspond with that are actually going to feel that energy. And so if you're doing work that's under what you should be paid so that you can't pay your bills, you're feeling scarcity, you're feeling struggle, you feel like there's not enough, you're actually going to have that energy when you're doing your work, and then that's going to be felt from anyone who receives it. So it's really, really important that you ask for your worth and that you essentially do your best to make sure that you're creating a symbiotic relationship where you feel good about what you're doing and they feel good about what they're doing as well. And also, that being said, don't just ask for a ton of money if you don't have that value to add. So one of the things that I did was I took courses on my own time. I watched YouTube videos on my own time. I tried things out on my own, and that's what actually helped me get better at serving other people and helping other people. People are able to see just from what I had done for myself that I knew what I was doing in terms of growing a social media platform, right? And same thing right now, I teach coaches how to become incredible coaches, and people can see from my results that I know what I'm doing, and that's what actually drives them in. So I'm able to exchange value for their money, if that makes sense. So I hope that this helped you. Let me know in the comments down below if this was helpful for you. I know what it feels like when you are broke, when it feels like there's not enough money, but we all can access all of the resources that we need when we first decide to be resourceful. So you inside of yourself, you already have natural gifts. There's things that you're naturally good at. They might right now be a little bit outside of your awareness, but if you can, think about the things that you're naturally good at, or maybe ask a friend or a coworker that you trust, what do you think I'm good at? Like, for example, one of my really good friends, Emily, she's great at connecting people and networking. So she created a business of bringing people together and creating community. But even before she created her own business, she was helping larger businesses do the same thing. She was helping larger businesses connect and have networking events and parties. For me, something that I've always been really good at is seeing the best in people and seeing their potential far before they can see it. And so even before I knew that coaching existed, coaching was 100% the perfect business for me, because I'm able to see people at the goal that they might not even know that they have yet, right? And for you, it could be something different. Maybe you're really good at makeup, or maybe you're really good at making things look good, like photography or art, or maybe you're a good writer, or maybe you're really good at listening, or maybe you're really good at hiking or running or playing basketball. In all of these different things, these are very special gifts that when you continue to work on yourself to get better at them, people will actually want to invest for you to spend time with them to help them. If you're a great basketball player, you can help other people be better at basketball. If you're great at makeup, you can teach other people how to become great at makeup as well. There's so many beauty tutorials on YouTube, right? Think about that. So what I want you to do, if you're feeling broke right now, if you're feeling like there's not enough right now, if you're feeling like there's not enough money right now, what I want you to do is think about, what do I have to give? What is a problem that I would love to help other people solve? Because I can guarantee you that if you can look at other businesses, other corporations, other entities and people outside of you, they all have different problems. And when you can think about how you can help someone solve their problem and overcome their obstacle and do what it is that they want to do, and you become valuable at doing that, and you decide, I'm going to become the best person in the world at doing this, not in a competitive way, but in a way that you just want to be excellent at what you do, and you just share what you can share, and you put yourself out there, the right people who need your help will be drawn to you. And I want to let you know that one of the most captivating and beautiful things that you can help people with is through words, is through sharing your story, is through sharing something that you've overcome in a way that helps people and gives them hope. Once you start sharing your gifts and you recognize how valuable you innately are, you tap into an infinite source of wealth and abundance, and you realize that you're never going to feel broke again. So thank you so much for watching. If this helped you or this resonated with you, please click the subscribe button below, follow along, and also click on the bell for notifications. If you know anyone that needs to hear this message, please click the share button. I would so appreciate you sharing this with more people. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.